yeah, fingers crossed anyway this works, because like I said, we don't normally do it remote, we normally do it together. So this is like my first time doing it with like my AirPods in, so it should hopefully work.
I keep finding myself like leaning to the left to like try and grab your cock, but you
Anyway, I'm excited to fucking get into this anyway, because I think your clothing brand's fucking mint, and I have been meaning to order a tee, but I've seen recently they had the hoodies on there as well, and I think the hoodies look sick as well, like the one where it just says mentality at the top.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Yeah,
sorry, mate, go on.
I found out about you guys like I don't know when I first DM'd you, like February, March, and you guys were just like, yeah, we'd love to have you on, but like we've got such a big backlog of like people at the minute, and I was like, wow, that's sick that you're booked up for that long. So yeah, I've been really well. We've both been really looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, we're literally booked up now. When's it till, Ryan? Like about fucking October, November or something?
Really?
Mid-November.
Wow.
Mid-November is our like earliest slot for like any new potential guests.
That's well, book us into November.
It is hardcore though, because we do it like every Friday night, don't we? So, it's just getting them all like slotted in and shit like that. But it is mint though. Like we do love it, and as well, I was going to say, it weren't always meant to be like this, where we get guests on. It did originally start out where me and Ryan was just going to do it like a podcast together and just kind of like chat shit about like, anything and everything. And then we got like a guest on, didn't we, from Andy's Man Club. And then after that, we got another guest on from Andy's Man Club. And then people just started messaging and saying like, oh, we'd love to come on and tell our story. And like, we've had so many different like random people come on, haven't we? Like, we've had like fucking people from America, Canada, like police officers, fucking you name it, like everything. It's mad.
Yeah, I've listened to a few. I listened to the one with the guy from America, actually, I think. And I listened to the one with Luke. Luke Rucker.
Yeah, Luke Rucker.
Luke Rucker, yeah.
He's done really two, because his first one sounded like he recorded it on a fucking potato. And the second one was a bit better, because that was our first ever one. So we actually, just want to talk about tech issues, we actually belled him up on the phone and put him on loudspeaker and fucking recorded it. So it sounded so shit. But no, it was mega though.
And then obviously we know Louis Watkins, who did from Clear for Men.
Oh yeah, but you actually know him, yeah?
Yeah, we know. Yeah, so Louis from Newport. So Louis is like 20 minutes away from us in Cardiff. So
no way.
We met Louis in August, around August time last year. We were both at like an event together, so we met him through there. So yeah, sick.
That's mad. I was just about to say, like, I was so shocked when I found out Louis was only 23 and he's got his own little thing going on. But you're probably going to turn around in a minute and say you're like 23 or something like that.
We're 22. We're 18. No, we're 26. So
yeah, that's still fucking mad impressive though, because it's sick what you've got going on.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers. Yeah, it's we both had a few little businesses before, and we've definitely learned from the failings of those, and it definitely helps a lot having done that already. But yeah, it is impressive, and it isn't at the same time, because I think at this age we've got less responsibilities than we will in 10 years' time.
Oh, for sure.
So we do have more free time now. Like I'd say at 36, it's probably even more impressive to do something because you've got so many more commitments. Whereas right now we've got less commitments. So there's pros and cons to everything, I think, really. But yeah. Yeah,
that's very true. Sound like a pair of absolute Stephen Bartletts, mate. I want to know about your other businesses.
My first business was when I was 18. I set up like a talent agency in Cardiff. So my background is like acting and musical theatre and that sort of thing. So I worked in a restaurant at the time, and we had singers coming in who were decent, but they were charging a lot of money. I'm giving away the business idea.
Yeah.
To be fair, I'm not doing it. It's still.
I'm just making notes, by the way.
Don't bring it all.
The concept of the business was to basically take 17, 18, 19-year-olds, people around my age who were either going to train in musical theatre school or about to train, who are basically more talented than people who are a lot older, these singers, and basically charge almost half the price that they were charging. So we were trying to offer like more talent for less money, and then give opportunities to young like singers and performers as well in the local area. That was the first business, and that was decent, but we ran into, it's so hard to launch anything at 18. Like, we were just too young. Had to buy insurance for stuff, and just it was tricky. But yeah, that and other things, to be honest, has just led to, I think, in a business sense, this making a bit more sense now, probably.
Yeah. And then, so my business, I started like a freelance design studio. My background.
What I do, man.
Nice. Brilliant. Well, I'll get in contact with you. So I had throughout my uni, I sort of paid my uni expenses through just freelance design. And it sort of wrapped up a good following on Instagram where I could support myself through that. And then decided to bring out a clothing line through this design studio that just flopped massively.
I got 2 t-shirts.
You got 2 t-shirts?
I bought one. Yeah. I was one of the only people.
At the end, I was just like, "Yeah, that's true."
No one else bought one.
So yeah, we both are quite business driven and have a high work ethic. So we work well together, don't we?
We do.
Yeah.
So how did you two boys meet?
Oh, it's a long story. So probably
a love story.
Man in love.
Yeah.
Take us there, man. Take us there.
We matched on Tinder 3 weeks ago.
So we met through a mutual friend about 15 years ago. So
I was like 11.
Yeah. So I went to a different school to Cal and this mutual friend. But I always knew everyone in that school. So whenever we'd go out for, what would it be, after school FA singles or, at the park, Cal would be there. So this sort of friendship blossomed through a mutual friend. And then it wasn't until maybe 6 years ago, do you reckon, we became...
Yeah, really close. Yeah. So yeah, we've been really close for about 6 years now, I'd say. Yeah.
But this has certainly just heightened the friendship on another level.
Yeah.
Well, literally, my core history is just Cal. It's ridiculous.
I call him a lot.
You do.
I know what you mean, though, because myself and Ryan, quite similar in terms of, we've been best mates and stuff like that now for probably about 15 odd years, isn't it? And when we started doing this together, we was just we speak every day about the podcast constantly. We're constantly in contact about it. And then every now and then as well, when we're DMing people and stuff on Insta, we'll both reply at the same time. And then we'll be like, oh shit, I think we both did it to you before. I think I sent a message that was a bit more, not professional, but I was a bit oh yeah, I'm sorry lads, blah, 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 blah. And then he just put a message saying oh yeah, he's been a little bitch about his missus and something like that. And I was fuck's sake. So I deleted it rapid. I was nah. But I was going to say, yeah, so obviously just had a quick chat then, getting to know you a little bit and stuff like that. But if you'd mind just giving us kind of a bit of an overview of Mentality Clothing and kind of how that came together then.
Yeah. So Mentality Clothing. So we're a clothing brand supporting men's mental health through football. And what that means is we have a clothing range that we donate 10% of all our profits to Mind Cymru. The idea of the clothing range is to spread awareness around opening conversations around men's mental health, trying to break the stigma around it, and normalise these conversations in environments that they're currently not had in very frequently and they're not very comfortable in. And then we also have Mentality Football, where each week we run community football sessions for guys. They're eight-a-side football, where the idea is it's non-competitive, low commitment, a social, basically play football, and then we have a chat and a drink afterwards. And we're just trying to create a safe space, an environment where guys can speak if they want to. There's no obligation to do so. They can just come play some football, but just try and get good vibes out there and get guys talking.
You also realise the the impact that exercise, but especially like football with your mates, has on your mental health. Like how much you just enjoy going for a kick around.
Yeah, it's not even it's just getting out of the house as well. Sometimes, isn't it? Like just getting away from home and just getting out. Do you know what I mean? Even that's just like amazing for like mental health and stuff. But I was just going to ask as well on the actual brand, because as we both discovered, like both like from design backgrounds. So is it yourself that's done all the design and shit for it, or?
Yeah, so I'd say I'm the designer for the business, and Cal's like the business / networker. So yeah, I just love design, mate. I'm at it every day. That's my 9 to 5 job, and then after from 5 till 10, it will be mentality.
5 till 2 a.m.
That's what I'll say though. Like it's proper sick, the branding, and for anyone listening, like check it out, because it is. I was even looking on it before on like the Insta, even on like the stories, like you've got like the typeface and everything on like the actual stories. I'm not gonna like, because I know he gets fuming when I talk loads about design. And he's like, oh, fucking having a wank over the pixel and stuff like that. But in terms of the typefacing, did you do it yourself? Did you make it yourself? Because it doesn't look.
It's a bought typeface.
I was going to say, because it doesn't look like a actual typeface. It looks like it's been handmade, kind of.
Yeah. That was sort of the vibe I was wanting. So let's talk design here. I was going for a font or a type that matched that brain, like matched the bubbleness of the brand.
I was going to, because that's why it looks bespoke, because it looks like it like it's been alongside the brain and all the illustrations and stuff like that. That's unreal. And how have you done that then? Have you done it like an iPad, or have you just done it freehand with like your mouse and like Illustrator?
The font itself is one that I bought from Creative Market or whatever.
Sorry, I mean the brain, like the illustration and stuff.
That's freehand. Well, sketch first and then do it on Procreate and then send that to Illustrator.
No way. That's so sick, honestly. I want to say as well, like one thing that I love about it is, I know you mentioned before that you donate like 10% to Mind charity. And it's obviously a mental health kind of clothing brand. I can't think of any clothing brands off the top of my head that's like mental health. That's like, do you know, something that you'd wear? Like that sounds really harsh, but like, do you know what I mean? Or like, this is actually smart and cool, and I'd wear it and I'd feel like I'm just fucking wearing a fresh like t-shirt. Whereas when you do say the word mental health, like, and tie it in with clothing, like you'd imagine it being quite shit and like not something that you'd wear smart. Do you know what I mean? That sounds like I'm being a dick. Do you know what I mean?
No, it doesn't at all. And that was literally when we first started talking about this in sort of June last year. Like, I'm so glad it comes across like that, because that is exactly what we had in our mind. We were both struggling with our mental health in our late teens, early 20s. And we were like, how can we create something that for those younger versions of ourselves would resonate with us and we would actually relate to? And like, we never want anyone to buy something from us just because they support the message of supporting men's mental health. We want them to, I would love for someone to be able to look at our stuff and be like, oh, I'd wear that, and then someone will go, oh yeah, and they do this, and they're like, oh no way, there's a message behind it. Like, so we want it to be able to cultivate interest like by itself. And then I mean, no, I don't want to say if people just want to buy it for mental health, they shouldn't do that, because of course they should, but we want people to feel proud to wear it beyond just the message it's spreading.
But that's what I was like kind of alluding to, is the fact that I would have bought that based on the fact it's a nice t-shirt first. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I seen it in the shop and I hadn't read it or anything, I'd be like, yeah, that's fucking mint, that t-shirt. And then, like you said, the fact that it's mental health based too is like a kind of like a bonus.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's awesome. Especially from a design point of view. Like, big compliments. My head's fucking massive.
I think you two should do like a Zoom or something, because me and him are just sat here like fucking the admin bitches that we are, going, oh, tight, oh, get a fucking room.
Didn't you say that Cal does all like the social media and stuff as well?
Yeah, well, you will reply to these guys. I'm sort of...
So he's the admin bitch.
We're doing this the wrong way around. I think me and Luke should go off and do a pod, and then you and Cal should go off and do a pod.
We can I've got a lot of struggles. You two off like for about an hour.
Ryan, I've got a lot of struggles. I need to ask you how you're coping with them, doing all the admin, mate.
You know what? It's tough, but I've got a lot more free time than it. Because he's a little bitch with his missus and can't say no to her. I'm single. I've got a lot of free time, so I'm designated. Like if it's going to take a lot of time, it gets designated to me, i.e., the research for all our pods and like the sort of like not scripts, but like what we want to ask and all that stuff. And that falls on me. So
it does, but
it's very similar.
That you've heard of our podcast is down to me. Straight up, like he does all the funky stuff, all the tight font and all that bollocks.
I do.
The element that we want to talk about and discuss and get out there is because of me. End of story.
I do the producing, the recording. I do the editing. I do the design. I do the networking.
The design is phenomenal. Like I've seen the cutouts of the people. Looks fucking class. I've seen the type.
Do you know what's funny then? You just like the design. It's shit, mate. Like you need to have a word with me. No, but like you said though, it is hard. Like obviously you lads, like you said, younger and kind of have the responsibilities or whatever and stuff like that. And you can devote a lot of time into it, and you're doing it as a full-time business. Whereas me and Ryan, this is just like a little side kind of thing for us. Like we've both got kids and all that, and it is hard because I'd love to give it so much more attention in terms of like, you know, sitting there for a full day designing stuff and fucking about with it. And I have loads of ideas in my head for like videos that we can do and stuff like that. Even just mad TikToks or like just actual videos like explaining who we are, and do you know what I mean? Like even like kind of designed up and like done in After Effects and shit. Yeah. And it's like I just don't get the time to do it.
You hear that?
Yeah.
I have a 9-to-5 job, like so it's like you finish work and it's just like, oh fuck, like there's nothing I really want to do more. Well, I don't want to work after working, but sometimes you have to. But yeah, I get it.
So I'm gonna stir it back to design now. You ready?
Yeah.
Look at him. I was gonna. Do you actually work in design then? Are you like in an agency or something, or?
Yeah, so I work for do you know like the Principality Stadium, like Wales's main stadium?
Yeah.
Stadium.
So I work for the company that sponsors that, Principality Building Society.
Oh, no way.
Them, or one of, yeah.
That's what I'll go.
Like rugby campaigns and
stuff. Sorry, go on. I didn't mean to jump in. Just getting excited.
Yeah. We do a lot of like we did the World Cup campaign and like the Six Nations and Horseman International. So for someone who's heavily involved or a big fan of sport, it's class. Yeah. What about yourself?
That's what I was actually just going to say. I was going to say, what about yourself, Cal? What do you do? You work in admin.
Just admin mentality. That's all I do. He keeps me in a cage just doing admin for mentality. No, so I'm graduating in July from uni. I've studied football coaching and performance analysis. I'm also the head of analysis for Cardiff City Women. And I work. Yeah. And I don't know, I said yeah like that.
Yeah, you better believe it. Yeah.
I'm a bit arrogant. And I coach with Wales, like with the youth squads and stuff as well. So yeah.
You're a busy boy.
I am busy.
Sounds like it. Cal, do you do a bit of like kinesiology as well and like anatomy and stuff?
Say again.
Do you dabble in a bit of like kinesiology and anatomy?
I don't know what that means.
Anatomy, like
so I'll take that as a no. Okay, moving on. But are you both big Cardiff City fans, right?
You're more Cardiff fan than I am.
But yeah,
which well, yeah, we're both.
Are you more rugby, Luke, than football?
No, so my background's actually in football. I grew up playing for Cardiff Academy from the age of 8 until I was 15, and then stopped. Classic like injury. Could have gone pro, but I got injured. But my dad's from New Zealand, so I've grown up with the rugby background as well. I've just sort of been thrown into every sport under the sun as a kid. But yeah, my background's in football, so I love a bit of football.
So who did you play for until you were 16?
Cardiff and Wales.
So you played for Cardiff City in the academy till you were 16. So yeah.
Wow, that is very impressive. What was your injury?
I ripped my hamstring from my bone.
Or like a proper is that like grade 3, grade 4, like tear?
I don't know. It was just fully off.
You should know this. Analyst of the women's team. You should know that.
Yeah.
So the analysis I do is like technical and tactical, like football stuff. So we have SSD,
so it's not muscular or human body related.
No, I don't. No, I'm just football stuff. So yeah, we have people to sort out people like that.
What about yourselves? What do you guys do?
What, like football or like just
day-to-day stuff? Like
day-to-day, I'm a software engineer. Which it sounds more glamorous than it actually is. Like it's just a lot of like what Jay'll say of like just tell people to turn shit off and on again.
You work in IT.
Yeah, there we go.
Well played. But yeah, like I had to start there at the whole turn it off and on again and stuff like that. But I'm a lot farther up the ladder than that takes at the moment. So I do a lot of like background stuff, like database and shit. Write a lot of like SQL and coding and all that shit. So it's very boring. Like if I want to talk to a woman, the last thing I'm going to mention is my job. Like the pod comes first.
I was going to say the second to last thing you mention is the pod as well.
Yeah, my whole game is based on like that I've got a pod and that I'm not a fucking IT little mule that just like looks like Will from the In-Betweeners day to day.
Yeah, class.
Yeah, I was going to ask as well. So obviously, I'm in design. I don't think I need to talk about design anymore because I think Ryan's cock's going to go inverted. But yeah, I was going to ask. So I know obviously you mentioned kind of got the football backgrounds and stuff like that. So is that kind of why you lent into making it specifically about football and not just like general kind of sport and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think because of our interest in football, when we came up with the business plan around men's mental health, we sort of wanted to tie in something else that we both had an interest in and perhaps wanted to change within the football industry. Within rugby, like loose heads are a massive thing at the moment and like oddballs. But there was nothing going on in football. So I think we saw that market there, but also the fact that we're both massive football fans and have our connections individually and together in football was a huge reason.
Yeah. I think there's quite a few reasons. There's definitely the fact that our backgrounds in football. There's also the fact that like Luke got dropped from the academy when he was 16 and I'm sure he'll speak more about it in a minute, but like suffer with his mental health as a repercussion of being dropped and having no support. So sort of understanding the academy system and then me working in first team football and understanding the pressures of being in a first team football environment. But then also just casually like being a fan, playing football Sunday league, being aware that like two things. First of all, like men feel a lot more comfortable to speak in a footballing environment, but that conversation doesn't always extend to talking openly about their mental health, and if it does, they're perhaps not as aware or conscious that they're doing so. So we realised it was a space that guys are coming to a lot, and they're getting very emotional, happy, sad. It's a space where it's accepted for a man to cry whilst watching a football game, whereas if a man's in the street, it's not accepted. So we were just sort of like, how can we build upon that, and how can we also make the brand? We want people to feel connected to the brand, and I think when you think about a mental health charity, perhaps, or at least I felt at certain points when I was struggling, it didn't really resonate with me or my experience very well. So we felt if we did something quite niche and did it within a specific sport, hopefully people would already feel naturally connected to it because the connection comes through football already. And then there's a buy-in and walls are broken down because they're like, oh, football's cool. I might give this a try. So yeah, probably lots of reasons, really.
Yeah, it's actually a lot more than
lots of reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, like you said as well, it is such a good idea, like you said, in the sense of like men do let the guard down, don't they, when it's football? And like you said, like Ryan's dad, for example, I'm not picking on your dad, but like he'd never really cry, would he, in any kind of situation? Whereas when it comes to football, he's like a massive Man City fan, and like he'd probably cry every time they win the league. And obviously they're just winning it, like it's fucking nothing at the minute. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it does kind of bring that out of you. And then me being a United fan, it brings the fucking anger out in me because they're fucking shit. I fucking get so annoyed at them. But no, it's such a good idea tying it into that. I was going to ask, do you have any like kind of not connections, but have you kind of had any conversations with maybe anyone in football to kind of like wear your merch? Or I can see you both grinning that down. Yeah, what is it, like an NDA or something?
NDA.
So, well, we went into Cardiff City first team training back in March.
Yeah.
And we had Joe Rawls, the captain of Cardiff City, and 6 other players wear our stuff. And they were just unbelievable. Like we went in with no expectations, just thinking it'd be amazing if we can just speak to someone and
get one photo.
Yeah, get a picture of someone wearing it. And we thought perhaps they might put it on and say, good luck with it, boys, and that would be it. But they weren't obligated. We didn't do it through the club, so there was nothing under contract. And 7 guys came in and put on the stuff and sat there with us and had a chat and asked us questions, complimented the quality. Then all 7 like followed us, have like
shared us on stories.
Shared and put
That's
in
so
orders.
sick.
Yeah, so sick. Just been so supportive of it. And then because I work for the club, I was at the like award ceremony like with the men and women recently last month. And I saw a few of them there, and they brought me over and they're like introducing me and like, oh, this is Carl who like gets our clothes for us and stuff. And
no way. I bet you felt so gassed, like going, oh shit.
But it means so much because like when we were sat down trying to create this, we wanted this to be accessible and resonate with everyone, like with the guy that plays on a Sunday and then goes down to watch his local team, right up to an elite athlete. And the fact that we were able to feel that sort of full spectrum when we were chatting to these guys, and it was something that they cared about, and they also felt that we were doing it justice as well, which I think meant a lot to us.
100%.
Yeah, and then we're also currently we're speaking to a football club. We can't say too much, but we're speaking to a football club about a potential contract with us.
No way.
So
is it Cardiff City? No, I'm only joking. Is it a Premier League club or like a Championship one? You tell us that much.
They're
professional. We'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So
nice.
vague.
So good. So is that would that be like having your logo possibly on their shirt and stuff like that?
So yeah, potentially within the next 3 weeks to month, we'll have 1 or 2 garments released, like fully shot, with them potentially in the club store, with our branding and their branding as like
a collab. No way.
Yeah.
That's so good as well, because I was going to say it makes so much more sense, because one thing that pisses me off is like that football shirts still have betting companies on them, and it would be so much more refreshing to just have your fucking sick illustration on there of the brain, and it's like, do you know what I mean? And it's like a shout out to like mental health, and people like you said yourself kind of got released at 16, and I'm guessing it's because of the injury, and that probably happens so much. And like I bet a lot of footballers, like I'm not saying it's lucky for you, but obviously being 16, it was quite lucky the fact that you were still young and you could pursue other stuff and do college and potentially all that kind of stuff. Whereas some people, when they're like 21, 22, and they fucked all that off and gone straight into football, and then they do get a career-ending injury, and then they're just kind of like, oh yeah, see you later, and then you're like, shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think like I know so many boys that were literally up until the 21s and then got released, and then it's like, well, what do I fall back on now? Like football's literally been my entire life, and there's not enough support at all within the academies or even post academies to say like, look, only 1% of you might make it, if that. So you need to be prepared for the aftermath of not going pro. Luckily for me, like my family were always quite supportive of me no matter what. And I was always a creative as well. So I saw the opportunity to think, right, well, I'm not going to be a footballer. I don't want your typical academic job just because that's not who I was. What else am I good at?
But that was definitely like a journey for you. That definitely wasn't
for sure,
overnight.
And I think like when I just want to clarify, I left the academy. I didn't get dropped. It was my choice. Find that out there. What was I going to say? My head got too big there. I didn't recognise that I was depressed at that time because like depression wasn't really a thing back then. But I actually discussed this with my mum a couple of days ago, basically saying like, if I look back at it, I was so down like for months with this injury that literally ruled me out of doing anything. Like I was on crutches for a year. So of course I was depressed, but I think it's about recognizing that. And what we want to do is basically say to these kids, because they're all kids and up until like you're 18, that even if you do get a career-ending injury, it's okay. Like you're going to be fine. Don't think that your life's over. Because I sort of had that. It was a moment of, especially for a good 6 months, of being like, well, who am I now? Because I'm no longer Luke, the football guy. Like, what's my identity? How do I switch that? So, I guess our message for these academy players or even Sunday league players who get a torn ACL or a devastating injury is just like, it's all right. You've got more to you than just your football sport.
Yeah, no, I think it's an underrated skill to have. That, you know, if you do fail or you don't actually quite make it, or like you yourself got an injury and stuff like that, to sort of have that mental capacity to be like, well, if this doesn't happen, I can do X or I can do Y. Right? Because a lot of people, when they're like 15, 16, like, I want to be a footballer. Well, what if that doesn't work out? Oh, well, I'm fucked. And I think as sort of like a society, it'd be good to sort of like lean into the fact that if it doesn't work out, there are still options. Like, it's not the end of the world, because you've probably seen it yourselves where someone doesn't actually make it and stuff and they just crumble and they can't see anything than them being a footballer. It's like, you've got two fucking torn ACLs. It's done. You've finished. Sort of wake up and smell the bacon type thing. So I think it's underappreciated, that message that if it does happen, like, be prepared, like hone in on some other skills rather than you just playing football and like sort of putting your eggs in all one basket type mentality, isn't it, really? And I think it's good that you've been able to sort of look at it from a what else am I good at point of view, rather than I'm only good at football, I'm fucked point of view. Yeah. So like, well done you, your family, your support system and stuff for sort of bringing that out in you. Because it's more than likely you didn't do that yourself. It's more than likely going to be your family that have been able to sort of get that message across to you. So well done them for doing that.
Shout out to mum and dad. If you're listening.
I was just going to say, sorry, to you, Cal, like, what was like your reasoning? Because I know obviously like Luke's reason, like you said, kind of falls into that, the injury and then you fucking them off, not them fucking you off. But what was kind of your own reasoning, Cal, for like why you kind of jumped in to like the mental health side?
I struggled a lot with my mental health when I left school at 18. I really struggled with being 18, 19, feeling like I needed to be a man, feeling like I needed to have the world sorted out. And I buckled under the pressure of that. And then I found it hard to speak about that. And then it was a bad cycle of not knowing how to speak about it, feeling worse about that, and sort of feeling more and more trapped with my anxiety over that. as the years went on, I did different things to help myself. I saw counsellors, I had hypnotherapy, but I think it wasn't until sort of after lockdown that like Luke and I and the other boys in the group spoke quite honestly about what we've been going through. And I'd always looked at Luke sort of prior to having open discussions with him as like, that's Luke, like he's the guy, like he's doing great. And I think, you know, other than him thinking I was the guy, he was thinking the same thing about me. And we realized just through like speaking about how powerful that could be, like when you're speaking to another guy your age and they're accepting you for what you've been through and they're seeing what you've been through and they're listening to you. And we spoke to other boys then, and we just realized how much that resonated with not just us as individuals, but with just sort of guys our age. And I was sort of at the point where I was like really, really passionate about trying to create something that could have helped me a little bit more when I was going through stuff. So yeah, I was working in football. I was having all these thoughts about there's a lot of toxic masculinity within football. There's a lot of things within football that I would like to change because I love it. It's my absolute passion. And then it's also a brilliant sort of environment, I think, to be able to do that. So it was just sort of connecting the dots for me, really.
Yeah. Like we also we were suffering at the same time, but didn't know it.
Yeah.
I also suffered later on in my first year of uni, literally to my third year, where like, unless you asked me how I was doing, you wouldn't have a clue that I was depressed. And
wow.
Further on the line, I'm not going to go into it, but yeah. So it wasn't until we actually spoke and said like, I didn't know if you knew, but I was depressed during first year uni, second year uni, and Cal was like, "Oh mate, I had major anxiety issues." That you do connect those dots, and it's like,
yeah.
We're clearly not the only ones like this, you know.
Did you both find that you both like masked it quite well then? Because you both seem like you just off like first impressions that you both be like, you know, quite not laddish, but do you know what I mean? Like quite chirpy, and like you wouldn't have guessed that you would have been battling them demons.
I think it was very obvious for me. I'm quite a sensitive person and who shows emotion very clearly on the outside, whether I'm in a mood or upset. Like it's obvious. But I think like going into uni, people in uni saw me as that shy, timid kid in first year, second year, when like if you knew me, you would know that I'm actually very outgoing, quite like a golden retriever vibe. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, it's a really good question, actually. It's not something I've actually ever reflected on. Did I hide it well? I'd probably say no, I didn't. Like people, if you don't talk about your mental health, people can start to think that you're a dick because like you're just not being honest, and like you're pulling out of things, like you're not yourself when you're somewhere, and there's never an explanation like to people. So people naturally start to create explanations for you. And I think probably the perception of me, not from everyone, but when I was struggling, was just that I was a little bit flaky. Like I'd commit to stuff, and then, you know, the reality of it would be that I was fucking struggling and I literally couldn't leave the house that day. But I'd just say, oh no, I can't come. So like, was that hiding it well? I mean, yeah, they didn't know what I was going through, but I wouldn't say that's doing it well, because people had negative perceptions of me for it.
Yeah.
And I was helping myself. I was just exacerbating the cycle of feeling worse about it. So no, I don't think I did hide it well, to be honest.
I don't think I hid it.
But then that opens up the question of like, sorry, I was just going to say that opens up the question, like, is there a way to hide it well? Like, and I'm not sure there is, because like the whole thing for us is like, it just shouldn't be hidden. Like,
yeah,
there is no way to hide it well. Like if you are struggling, like however you perceive yourself to be around others whilst you're struggling, and if that is an exaggerated version of yourself and people are still laughing at you and thinking you're good, that's still not a good way to hide it, because you're still internally suffering with whatever you're going through.
I was going to say, like, even if you are hiding it, or if you're not hiding it well, people might have thought, oh, Luke's a bit off. I wonder what's wrong with it. He's just a little bit upset. But they don't know, like, the severity of the situation and what's going on in here, which is the big talking point is, like, you can hide it as much as you want or not hide it as much as you want, but
it's never good.
It's never good, yeah. Like, your mind is a temple, and it can easily be destroyed, or it can be rebuilt. Man,
very nice.
It's getting heavy here. I was just actually gonna ask, because I think it's a bit similar in terms of what you both kind of talking about then. So I was just gonna ask your thoughts on it, and it's also related to football. And I think it was more like, might have been last year when it all kind of come out. But I was gonna ask, like, what was your thoughts on around? Do you remember when Dele Alli kind of came out?
I was about to say, we loved it because it was the first, like, time, I think, especially in our
generation of
football, where, like, someone's actually come out and said, I'm fucking depressed, like, and this is why, because he got so much shit on social media for years, like, he's a wasted talent, what could it be? Exactly, he doesn't want it, he's just in it for the money, when, like, you never know what someone's been through or what they're going through. So
no, of course.
And I think it just lent on exactly what I just said, the fact that if you're not able to be open, then people will just create ideas and stories, and they'll have perceptions about you. They're just simply not true.
Yeah.
But then, should he have been honest earlier? I don't know. I don't really know if that's for us to say. We don't know what it would be like in that environment. And also, it's like no one had ever been honest, like, about that sort of being in it. So it's like, it's such a difficult one.
That's what I was going to say, though, Cal. Like, very similar to what you said before, in the sense of, like, when you don't say anything and people perceive you to be being a certain type of way, like, they can just think you're being a dick. And I'm not going to lie, like, I did used to think Dele Alli was a bit of a dick. Do you know what I mean? And it's because you don't see that side of them. And then obviously when he come out and told all that story about everything he'd been through his childhood and blah, 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 it just made you think, like, fuck me, like, guys had it really bad. And, like, you just feel awful for judging them. And like you said, it's so easy to do it on someone who is, like, a celebrity, and they kind of get in, even the media and that always kind of betrayed him in a bad light. But like you said, every normal guy kind of out there, like I said, even if you're not just being open, talking about your feelings and shit like that, and if you are just a bit flaky, or if you don't want to do something, or sometimes if you're a bit quiet and shy, you do just, I get it all the time, even now, when I'm in, like, a big crowd. Like you said, I'm quite similar to you, Luke, in terms of, like, I'm dead happy and talkative and shit, but in a big crowd, I will kind of just, like, be happy just sitting there and kind of listening. I don't feel the need to pipe up and try and fucking own the room and shit. But then I start getting in my head and thinking, like, do people think I'm rude because I'm not, like, talking? And, like, do people think, this guy here, man, like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it is a constant thing. I get it even now, all the time.
Yeah. It's about I guess the ultimate goal is just about creating enough safe spaces and creating a society where people feel okay to come out about that sort of thing, that it's just accepted, and that Dele was able to feel like he could have spoken during it, and then there didn't need to be all of that media around it, because
everyone would have already known. And
it's similar about, like, players being gay and coming out about being gay. Like, it's not happened, and it doesn't happen just because it's accepted. Like, it's not accepted within football.
No, of course.
It would be happening.
It is so stupid, though. Like, because I was actually going to mention that after the Dele Alli thing about footballers being gay and not being able to open up, because isn't there only, like, one football in English top tier who has come out as gay? And it's like,
the guy who plays in the Australian league, isn't it?
I think he's Australian. I think he plays in England now.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. Good on him. Yeah, I think he plays League One or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's so stupid though that, like, who even gives a shit? Because I've heard stuff before on like Instagram that's apparently like two footballers in the Premier League, but they won't come out because they're scared of the backlash of like the crowd, shouting. And it's like, what year are we in? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do we just live with fucking chimpanzees? Like, it is annoying though, because like you said, though, they will get shit for it, and it's just so fucked up. Like, it winds me up.
I remember seeing this thing on social media saying like, 6 Premier League players, like top Premier League players, going to come out in 2 weeks' time, and it's like, why? Like, why are we in a place where we need an announcement before it's even announced?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's about like, what we're doing is we're just trying to talk about mental health, but there are so many things that really do need talking about, not just in football, within wider society. But for us, it's just about like trying to really push home the message that it's okay to talk, it's okay to feel how you feel, and
be who you are.
Yeah, be who you are. And a big thing we talk about is strength and the perception of strength in sport. And our sort of slogan is that we're trying to redefine what it means to be strong in sport. And the current perceptions of a man being strong in sport anyways is a man being dominant, physically strong, someone who won't show emotion, who'll be hard.
Roy Keane.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, that is a variance of strength. Roy Keane is by no means weak for demonstrating those sort of traits, but it's also strong to be Dele Alli. Like, it's very strong to be Dele Alli. It takes so much strength to talk as Dele has. And that's why, to round off your question, we're so proud that he was able to come out and speak as he did, because that takes so much strength, and that is just as much strength as it is to be Roy Keane, for sure.
No, 100%. I was just going to say, just on the back of that, before we move on, I listened to a podcast ages ago now, but it was actually Stephen Bartlett, and he had Patrice Evra on it. I don't know if you have heard it, but he was talking about toxic masculinity, and he said throughout all his career, he never cried, all his childhood never cried. And then I think it was after he'd retired and stuff, like he had some messed up shit happen to him in his childhood and all stuff like that, where he got sexually abused, and he opened up about it to his partner. Yeah, and he said that she taught him that he can cry and get it out, and he said, I never felt like such a man after crying and all stuff like that, and it's just so true.
The whole toxic masculinity thing always played with me, because in school I was a big crybaby, and I got the piss taken out of being a crybaby. And I always I'd come home and mum and dad, or my dad especially, would be like, "But mate, it's okay. You're a swain. We're emotional people." But there were so many guys in school that just wouldn't cry, or would take the piss out of me for crying. I'm just like, why? Surely crying is just it's just an emotion, isn't it? You just let it out. You got so much built up shit inside you, just let it out. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that. No, but that's slightly different to me in that I sort of struggle with crying, but I find it so refreshing to hear Luke talking like that, and I guess that's just what we're trying to do, is just to bring refreshing perspectives on perhaps things that have been a certain way for many, many years. And we're by no means the only ones doing it, but if we can just make a little change through what we're doing, then that's massive to us, massive. Yeah.
Well, I think you're already making massive changes, and I think what you're doing is mega. I do have a few more questions, but I want to see if my man wants to fucking chime in, because he's just sat here eating popcorn.
Oh, me? Hi guys, hi Carl, hi Luke,
hi Ryan.
Ryan, is it software engineer?
Software engineer extraordinaire.
He's just replying to some DMs. That's why he's been so quiet.
Yeah. No, I've not been falling asleep. No, but I'm fine. No, what I'd say off the back of that, which is you both make fantastic points about that strength and as a man being able to show their weaknesses, vulnerabilities, and stuff like that. That does that is a perception of strength, but it's just mistranslated in society at the moment that actually is putting them in a position of strength. Everything is sort of not backward, but a bit misunderstood. I was having a conversation with my dad the other day about, say, lads back in the day, like in the 80s and 90s and stuff, that they missed a trick because women love it when like men will sing along to like Mamma Mia tunes and get really into it. And like have to go like that. Because all his boys were just at the bar with fucking John Smiths, like going, "Oh, fucking not getting involved with that." And I was like, "Yous have all missed a trick because nowadays, if we are singing fucking John Travolta, Night Fever and doing all the dancing and stuff, like they like it because it's us showing that like we're not toxic and we're not asked about looking, quote unquote, feminine or whatever." And I was like, "He's of all like Mr. Trick, bad style."
Yeah.
Because...
My dad always brings up the story of when he was in uni. He was in like the drama club, like the musical theatre club, and he was mates with all these rugby boys, and they'd be like, "Oh, Swaney, you're so gay for doing drama." And he's like, "Hang on, just want to make this clear. I'm gay because I'm in a room full of girls who love it when I sing, and you're on a rugby field jumping on each other."
You all want to drink each other's piss. I'm gay. Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah. Yeah, well done.
But yeah, it's a good point. Like that sort of showing just who you are. Like everyone loves a sing song. Just have a sing song.
Yeah, I think it's sort of like it comes with authenticity. I can't say the fucking word. Authenticity. Yeah. I think when that shines through, be it a masculine trait or a feminine trait or whatever, when you are yourself, people can't help but sort of like gravitate towards it. If someone's putting on a mask or a persona or a facade of who they actually are, I think people can sort of like smell it and be like, you're not actually that guy, are you? But when you are just unruly yourself, people can kind of tell.
Mate, like I couldn't have said it better myself. And then it's just about creating environments where people feel safe to be themselves.
Exactly.
And then it's about letting people know that they can express that. And that's huge. Well said.
Anything else from you, Ryan?
In terms of crying, I've got a nice little anecdote about crying. So I've had my daughter for the full week this week. It's been amazing. I've cried about 80,000 times just from like looking at her when she's asleep. But what she did yesterday was watching Rapunzel, which is like a Disney princess, whatever. And there's a little scene where Rapunzel's holding hands with her like love interest, and they like sing a song in like a gondola holding hands. Yep. And my daughter gets up on the settee for where I'm sat, grabs my hands in the same way that they're doing on screen, and starts singing the song.
I believe it's Tangled, All the Lights, or something like that.
Melted. I was a puddle. And I bet she.
It's a good song.
Like,
it's a good song.
I've got no idea. I've got no idea. I'm really sorry. I wish I knew. But it was about love, and it was very romantic and all that stuff. And she grabbed my hands. Exactly.
There you go.
Like that.
There you go. That's off my Tony box.
Exactly as the characters were doing it, like on screen, we were almost like reenacting it, and she was singing it. Puddle. Absolutely so cute. Of a man. And it's one of my happiest memories to date, which happened yesterday. And it was mega. I was crying my little fucking eyes out, and it was awesome.
That's class.
Love that, mate. I was actually going to say, it's quite funny, this episode, because I've actually done a lot of research for once. That's why I'm fucking on fire with the questions. But I was actually going to say I was doing a bit of stalking on, obviously, through your Instagram page and stuff like that beforehand. And I did notice that it's coming up to the 1 year anniversary of Mentality Clothing next month. So, proper fucking research. That's how you research, boy. So I was going to say, have you got anything planned for the year anniversary?
You go. I've spoken quite a bit.
Yeah, we have. But it's just going to be about sort of celebrating what we've done. And we're really, really, really proud of what we've achieved in a year.
Definitely.
And just going to release some new stuff for the summer, release a new summer range, and hopefully do some stuff with some football clubs. That should be us for the next few months, I think.
Yeah.
We got some sort of charity events lined up potentially with different things, and we've got a really exciting summer ahead, I think.
Yeah.
No, that sounds mint. I do have one final closing question, but I want to obviously see if Ryan's got anything that he wants to ask before I do. If he's still there. So it went great on the screen. I didn't know whether...
It keeps dropping out, mate. You might be onto something with my fucking shit internet, It keeps dropping out. It's in my head.
I don't know if you've heard any episodes where I mention his internet and he gets well annoyed. But his internet is fucking shit. What is your internet? Shout them out.
And what? Why would I shout them out? They're not going to listen to fucking us, are they?
No. Come on, because
Shout out One Stream.
I'd never heard of that. What the fuck is
Shaggy
One Stream?
One Stream.
Yeah, there you go. When I said to him, I went, who are you with? I went, you with Sky?
Oh.
I'm with you, ma'am. Shut up.
You've cut out for us.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there we go.
I have.
No, Jay.
Has Jay cut out? Yes.
Yeah, we can't hear him.
You cut out then, Jay. You little fucking nezzer. Oh, he's gone. Buzzing. Anyway, boys, this has been absolutely mega. He's gone.
Ironic moment.
You got me.
Yeah, what a hilariously.
The irony in this moment is unbelievable.
Honestly, please video, capture this on your Instagram or something like that, because I'm gonna wear this like John Cena wore his championship belt and.
We'll put it on a t-shirt for you. Send it out.
Don't. I've got a little tingle in my fucking fly there. Honestly, don't. But no, I'll ask my final question while his internet's fucking being.
We'll tell him we can still see him. We just can't hear him. It's like he's muted.
Gutted for you that you can still see him. Anyway, what I wanted to ask, boys, was in your sort of foreseeable future and stuff, what do you deem as success?
That's a very good question.
Very good question.
What do we deem as success? I guess there's two ways to talk about success. The first way would be success is helping anyone with anything. That is success. We've already been successful. We've already had people message us and speak to us in person at football and say thank you for what you're doing, what you're advocating, what you're talking about. So in that way, we've already been successful. If this ended tomorrow, we've had success. This was never about us creating something that was massive and really ego-driven and we wanted to be millionaires from. We've already had success. But in terms of the sustainability of the business, we would love, I think, still to be able to have sort of a mentality foundation, to be able to streamline all of our charitable efforts through a mentality foundation. So have our mentality clothing, mentality football, and then a mentality foundation. And basically just be able to have full control over everything of the work that we're doing and the people that we're helping, and the way that they're being helped as well.
That's spot on. I think we also a good bit of success from the football side of things, mentality football, would be one day to be nationwide, just to have another venue, whether that's Swansea, Newport, wherever, but for that to just continue to grow. And just get guys and girls out playing, out enjoying their football and their mental health and their community.
Yeah, I guess if success is defined as us helping anyone, simply the expansion of that to helping more people is more success. Yeah,
that's awesome. It's that sounds from what you're saying there is like you're building like your pillars, like your foundations, and what you're building, and greatly none of yous mentioned financial, which is
it was never about the money,
because I think I've said on like previous episodes that if we get financially successful as a byproduct of being ourselves and helping people, then that's just a bonus. Like our sort of like ethos is getting one person to listen to one of our episodes, and then getting one person to find a relatable topic in one of our episodes. So every episode from like episode 1, we're in bonus time already.
Yeah, definitely.
This is just a privilege to be able to sort of like keep doing, no matter what happens with this pod going forward. We've already succeeded, quote unquote. So there's nothing from like an egotistical or financially driven meaning behind anything that we're doing. We just want to portray that blokes like who were like yourselves, like that mannequin video that you two did when you was making them and stuff, making them and stuff like. I literally knew from like that second, I was like, these boys are like they've got it, because again, you're being very funny and being like yourselves. Because like if me and him had a clothing brand, we'd definitely be necking the mannequins a billion. So
rimming the asses.
we'd be doing dark shit, mate. Like they played it pretty PC. So
yeah, he's had proper smashed it. I just want to say as well, my internet didn't go. It was my fucking AirPods disconnected, and then it wouldn't let me talk because it weren't playing like finger, and it was like right on cue when I was shouting out his shit internet, and then you was all like, "You dropped out," and I was like, "No, I'm not."
Violins, I can hear them. The violins.
Oh man, fuming.
Tiny one.
Fuming. No, but it's been mega. I just want to, obviously, before we wrap up, if you don't mind, I know it's late, if I could just ask one very quick question and then just another question just to wrap up. So the quick question is, what's the sizing like on the tees? Because I'm 100% going to order one. Are they quite like oversized or?
So I'm wearing a large.
A large, yeah.
You look tall though, and hench.
I'm 5'9", pushing 5'10".
He's 5'10".
Wait, you join the 5'9" club. We're both 5'9".
5'10" in a pair of Clarks.
I'm quite a tic-tac build, so I like a medium because it like hugs my arms more rather than being like, this is large, oversized.
Yeah.
Do you want to show your medium?
I'm in a medium, oversized.
Just set up an OnlyFans page, you boys. Fucking hell.
Yeah, this is not the best way to be able to show you what it looks like, but yeah, this is unreleased.
Yeah, it's unreleased. I'm a drop.
Hope they're whistling the tea, not me. So yeah, I'd say the oversized stuff is like pretty two-sized if you want it oversized, regular fit, upsize if you want it a bit more comfortable. Our hoodies are out of stock right now, but when we bring them back, people, again, pretty true to size, maybe size up.
I'd say like what would you typically get for a t-shirt?
Medium.
I'm the same, like medium or large. I do occasionally get a large, but sometimes you can get a large and it's massive.
How tall are you?
Same as you, mate.
Okay. What sort of fit do you prefer?
I quite like a baggy, yeah.
Then I'd say get a large. If you're built, if you're like a big guy and you want it to be oversized, look at that.
Little water gun.
If it doesn't fit, if it's too baggy or too small,
send it back. We'll sort you out with another one.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, sound. Well, I'm definitely going to order one. I need to get on there and have a look which one I like. I originally liked the dark navy one with the drawing on the back, and that was my favourite. But yeah, like I said, just to wrap it off, I was going to say, I think Ryan might have asked it when I had to like leave the call and jump back in. But I don't think he asked it in the same kind of way. I was just going to say, like, do you have any kind of plans for the future in terms of expanding the brand? And I was going to say, would it ever be on the cards to maybe make your own podcast. I think that could be quite cool. And you get your own guest on, and the guest would be like footballers that have kind of struggled with mental health, like Dele Alli.
So we actually spoke about literally right from the off.
Like before even clothing, I think.
Before it was even, to have like a podcast alongside the brand.
Yeah.
And that we would do exactly that. We would get ex-footballers or perhaps boys who were playing like non-league football that got released, or pretty much anyone to come and talk and share their story, because I think it's really important to hear the stories from the elite athletes, but as well as those who have gone through their own personal struggles
and didn't make it.
100%.
Yeah. I think right now Luke's spot on. Like, it was the premise of Mentality was we've got this problem. We feel like it's not isolated to us. What can we do to help people? And so it was never, we want a clothing brand. We're really into fashion. What should the message be? The message came first. And obviously a podcast is an amazing way to get a message out there. So yeah, there are no limits to anything like that. It's just right now we're trying really hard to build the foundations properly. Within our clothing, within our football sessions. So I say right now, like, where we're at is the plans for expansion are releasing new garments. So, we're hopefully going to have hats and shorts for summer with our stuff on it, in terms of the clothing. Linking up to football clubs, and we've got a collab coming with an ice hockey club up in Leeds, which is really exciting as well. So expanding to different sports with our clothing, and then the football, just expand, as Luke already said, to different locations, different evenings, different genders, different abilities, different ages. Just help as many people as we can, really.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely sick. I think me and Luke need to get together and fucking do a collab, Tea for Trouble Boys Club of Mentality, and that'd be sick.
Yeah.
That would be sick. That'd be really sick.
Send me a portfolio.
Yes, boss. Yeah, mate. Thank you so much anyway for coming on. You've both been absolutely sick, and I've loved speaking to you.
Yeah, this was class.
Yeah, pleasure. Loved it. Honestly, loved it, guys. You guys are doing a brilliant thing. You're giving voices to people that, otherwise wouldn't have a voice. You're booked until November. Class. You're being yourselves, and I've got no doubt that all of the success is coming your way, because you're doing it in a really organic, authentic way that's true to you.
It's real.
And yeah, we'll be here supporting you guys for sure. So
happily book on in November.
Yeah, get us in November.
Yeah, man. Part 2.
Yeah, that's mega. And we really appreciate you saying that, and we wish you nothing but the best for your brand, your message, your everything, boys. You've been absolutely mega. So I really appreciate you both coming on.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers, lads.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, have a lovely weekend and enjoy the bank holiday. And I'm looking forward to seeing who this mystery club is that you're collabing with.
Hopefully you'll find out soon. Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, man. All right. Take care, boys. Nice one.
See you, boys.
Cheers, lads. Bye.